It's 8:10 at Colorado 740 KVOR. It's Monday. You know what that means. It's Money Mondays on KVOR with Accelerated Wealth. Chris Abeyta, Doug Berkey are here from Accelerated Wealth. So much experience here in the room. Over 40 years of combined retirement planning experience. Chris, a featured contributor to Fox Business, and he's an author of the book Retirement Confidence in an Uncertain World. Doug's a national Social Security advisor. These cats can help you with money. I like the sound of that. We are in good hands right here, gentlemen. What will we talk about today?
Jim, today we are talking about, do you really need $2.5 million to retire? There's actually a CNBC story that just came out that says to retire comfortably, you need $2.5 million to retire.
Agree or disagree?
Well, that's a pretty sad story. Most people, most Americans are never going to get there. And so that would be crazy. So even if you had $2.5 million, a lot of people can burn through that really fast and not be comfortable in retirement, run out of money. So no, we disagree because you can actually get to retirement without $2.5 million.
So Doug, how do you? I mean, that number, it sounds like maybe isn't accurate, but you still need something, don't you, obviously?
Absolutely. And the key, Jim, is making the most out of every dollar you've saved for retirement. So that's really the critical issue.
Now, interesting points here I know that Chris wants to make, about that as we move forward in terms of what you do with your money.
Most people, what we find is they don't have a process to make good investing or retirement decisions. They don't do this their entire life. This is not their career. So you make decisions a lot of times based on missing information or misconceptions. And so there's some key things that we need to touch. Number one, it's critical that you minimize your investment risk. If you're getting closer to retirement, you can't afford another 30 or 40% drop. That changes the rules on everything. So do you have the right amount of risk in your retirement? Number two is you got to make sure your investments are properly diversified. And when we say that, it's not stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. It's diversified for purpose. Number one, you got to have income. Do you have income-producing assets that will last your life? Number two, you got to have growth. You might be retired for 30 or 40 years. So your assets have to keep growing to sustain you. And number three, you got to have cash that you can get to an emergency. So making sure your retirement is structured properly is very, very important. And another one that we see, Jim, is fees. Most people that come into our office have tons and tons of mutual funds in their portfolios. And when you do the proper analysis, you're going to find mutual funds can charge you anywhere between 3 and 4% per year when you add all the hidden fees that are in there. So we find a lot of people, their entire retirement balance is leaking money. And so as an example, if you've got a $500,000 portfolio, you're probably leaking $15,000 to $20,000 a year just lost in fees alone.
Wow. And that money adds up.
Well, add that up for 10 years, add it up for 13, 14, 15, 30 years. It adds up big time.
Doug, take us down the next step in all this, if you would.
So you have to define how much income you need in retirement, Jim. You got to be able to forecast what your budget's going to be, what you need to live on, and then you need a strategy to turn your savings into an income workhorse that's going to last for your lifetime. And then you also have to build into your plan longevity and inflation. So you have to make sure your money doesn't run out before you run out of life, and you have increasing income in retirement so that you can stay ahead of inflation.
What about, and this is important, fellas, because doctors say, get a second opinion. What do folks like yourself say about that?
Absolutely. You have to get a second opinion because you might have made financial decisions based on bad advice. You might have made financial decisions based on something critical that is missing that's costing you a lot of money, or you might believe something that's not true. Somebody might have told you, hey, the stock market, it's going to do 8 to 10% over the long term. If you just stay invested, you're going to be fine. The problem is if you look at what the S&P 500 has done from the year 2000 to today, and you do the math, it's done about 2.6%. And if you're spending 3% in mutual funds,
okay, I know that.
Do the math.
The numbers don't add up. So then, what are the action steps we need to take then?
Well, number one, get a second opinion. Give us a call 466-5634 at Accelerated Wealth. This is what we do every day, and here's what we do. Think about this. Imagine if you got two families. They both have the same amount of money. They live next door. But one is just enjoying retirement. They're having a blast. They're killing it. They're having fun. The other is just barely getting by. What's the difference? The difference is you got to have a plan and the right kind of strategy. So what we offer is a 5-point retirement master plan. And we're going to offer this to anybody that gives us a call. They got to qualify. But here's what they're going to discover. Number one, how to maximize your income potential from the current retirement savings that you already have while minimizing your risk. And then we're going to take a look at the reality of how long are your current savings going to last in retirement. Would you want to find that out now, or would you want to find that out when you're almost out of money? So we're going to look at that so you can make adjustments now. And then Doug is going to help you identify how to wring every single nickel out of your Social Security so that you can optimize those benefits. And sometimes we can find $200,000 more over your lifetime.
I want to ask you about that, Doug, because you're the pro's pro, the pro from Dover when it comes to Social Security. And I think a lot of people don't rightfully get the money they deserve, nor do they understand how to ask for it. Is that accurate?
Well, absolutely, Jim. Social Security Administration says 94% of the people that file do not maximize their Social Security potential. And unfortunately, there's no system in place at the Social Security Administration to teach you those tools. So you have to come prepared. You have to know the questions to ask. You have to know the strategies. And for a husband and wife, believe it or not, there's 1,100 different filing strategies that could potentially be employed.
Wow.
And so you have to work with people like us who look at the 36% of your retirement income, which Social Security represents, and figure out how to maximize that, how to get the best benefit out of it, and how to get the most income out of your lifetime, because you've been paying for it for a long time.
No question, and you deserve every penny that you can and should get back. And Chris, you can also maybe help us how we could legally reduce taxes, because the less we spend in retirement, especially on taxes, the more money that comes to us.
The more you get to keep, the more you get to spend on yourself. So, give us a call. If you want that 5-point retirement master plan, you're going to learn these things. We're going to walk through. This is a report that's specifically designed for you. It's not a cookie cutter. It's specifically for you. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation. But if you've been recently retired, or if you're 10 years away from retirement, give us a call. If you've got at least $250,000 in retirement savings or more, you need to get this report and get a second opinion. You can reach us at Accelerated Wealth at 466-5634. That's 466-5634.
Also, you can email us at money@kvor.com. And fellas, it's never too late. Somebody may be listening to us and say, hey, you know what, I'm 50-some-odd years old, or I'm in my early 60s, and I missed the boat. The train has left the station, and that's inaccurate, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's never too late. You can either, and when would you want to find out? Sooner or later. The sooner you find out, the more help we can help with.
Chris Abeyta, Doug Berkey, Accelerated Wealth. Call them at 466-5634, 466-5634. Another Monday is drawing us closer to retirement.
That's right. Today's the last Monday of kids' school. They're excited. Make this Monday count. Make it one less Monday towards your retirement.
I think every parent in the audience just groaned out loud. Thanks, Chris, for reminding everybody of that. We were doing fine to that last sentence right there. 818 at KVOR. Right now, traffic. Sean Martinez.
Brought to you by Dr. Boschy. Denture wearers during one office visit. Dr. Boschy can give you a permanent solution to lose